Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden, what if, whatever you wanna call me. And I'm back with part 2 of What If Deku Had an Infinite Potential Quirk. And it seems like y'all are loving this series so far. I mean, y'all blew up part 1 like crazy. So I decided, let me get part 2 out to y'all before I get the next part / I think probably going to be the finale of What If Deku was in Demon Slayer, because at the end of the day, Demon Slayer is a very short anime. And yeah, y'all know all that. I've talked about that probably a bazillion times. But yeah, so I wanted to get part 2 out to y'all, and then tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but no, yeah, tomorrow, when you're seeing this, tomorrow, that next upload might be a little later. Might be like not at 12 p.m. my time, might not be 12 p.m. PST. It might be a little bit later than that, maybe like a couple hours. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided if I'm gonna make it later or not, because I'm not gonna be home for part of the day that I normally record. But yeah, that's about it. And I'm not gonna waste any more of your time, and we're gonna get right into the what if. Let's get it. After hearing what Izuku just said, the whole class stands there completely confused. He explains that his quirk is just called potential. He walks back into line, and the rest of the quirk assessment goes on, which Izuku gets first, but at a close second, Bakugo is there as well. Aizawa tells them all that nobody is being expelled and that everyone is now dismissed. Everyone heads back to the dorms, and tons of the class continues to question Midoriya about what he meant. It's really that simple. My quirk is called potential. I grow faster than a normal person. They ask if that's the case, how much did he actually train to get to this point? I trained a lot. And everyone, please just call me Izuku. Izuku walks to his room, and the class begins to question that too. Don't question things so much. He wants to be called Izuku because his last name relates to his mother. They try to ask Bakugo why that's so bad, but he tells them that if Izuku wants to tell him, that they'll know very soon. But if he doesn't want to tell him, then he won't tell him. He walks to his room as well, and the next day then comes. Izuku shows up at class and is greeted by his classmates, and Uraraka approaches him. Oh, hey Uraraka, what's up? Well, I was curious, why do you want to be called Izuku? Oh, well, it's my first name. Ochako then tells him that most people would rather be called by their last name. And Izuku just smiles and says that maybe one day he will tell the class why he wants it this way. Okay, you rejects, everyone sit down. Aizawa then tells the class that today they will be having actually a different teacher. A man then busts through the door. I am here, walking through the door like a normal person. The class screams, All Might, and he clicks a button, revealing tons of hero suits. He tells the class to put on their suits and meet him at Ground Gamma. Everyone does so, and Izuku is wearing basically this green and black gi that he wore while training with his weapon. But he had the support course basically put extra padding and protective gear within it. The class then approaches All Might, and he begins to explain what the class will be doing. Okay class, we'll be doing 1 versus 1 tournaments. I want to see where all of you are in terms of raw power, and then the next time we meet I will have all of you do something more heroic. The class is super excited, asking if they get to choose their 1 versus 1s. Sure, why not? Who wants to call someone out first? A boy with half white and half red hair approaches, calling out Izuku. I want to know what your quirk truly is. Izuku then laughs. Why don't you just believe me that it's just potential, Todoroki? They both walk out into the city, and All Might counts them down. Begin in 3, 2, 1, go. Todoroki sends off tons of ice at Izuku, covering him. Easy enough. Shoto is about to head back, but then the ice begins to shake. Midoriya busts through the ice using his weapon, and the hilt turns into some sort of whip. He slings it at Todoroki, and every time he sends ice, it gets cut to shreds. What, you can't beat me without a weapon? Oh, really? Midoriya tosses Todoroki the hilt. Go ahead, use it. Todoroki tries, but nothing works. The weapon then begins moving and goes flying back at Midoriya, and he catches it. You see? You're just not worthy. Bakugo facepalms. Did the nerd just make a Thor reference? The fight continues, and Izuku can be seen visibly wearing down Todoroki, and Izuku questions why he isn't fighting with his fire side. Shoto tells him that he wouldn't understand, and that he would never use his father's quirk. Midoriya in an instant is in front of Shoto and gut punches him. You want to know why I want to be called Izuku? Izuku kicks Todoroki. Because my so-called mother abandoned me at the age of 4 because I had some weak quirk. Shoto's eyes grow wide. So tell me, Shoto Todoroki, why are you wasting your potential when you could be using your quirk to fulfill your own wishes? As Izuku says this, Shoto erupts in flames with a smirk that grows on his face. Thank you, Izuku. Now, let the real fight begin. They both charge at each other, and the fight flies by like a blaze of fire. They both clash over and over. But at the end of the day, Izuku knew he already had this fight won. He walks toward Todoroki and gets blasted with fire, but when it disappears, a shield can be seen defending Midoriya, and he ties up Shoto with his weapon. Izuku Midoriya is the winner. Izuku lets Shoto go, and they head back to the class. Shoto thanks Izuku for getting him to use his fire side, and now he basically needs to begin training and learning how to control his fire as well as his ice. The rest of the class continues their 1 versus 1 battles, and then All Might dismisses the class, but Izuku is asked to stay behind. What do you need, All Might? Well, young Izuku, I wanted to ask if you a very serious question, but unfortunately you cannot tell the rest of your classmates about this. Oh, okay, yeah, I won't. What is it though? I would like you to take on my power and be my successor. Izuku thinks for about 1 second and says, I don't think that's a good idea, All Might, because I don't need it. All Might is shocked and asks what he means. I learned through all my training that my potential seems to be, well, limitless, or infinite. Don't get me wrong, your power would put me in a position where I would undoubtedly be the next #1 hero. But then, what next? All Might looks confused. I want to save everyone like you, All Might, but with my own power, with the quirk that my mother deemed as useless. Izuku smiles and All Might pats him on the head. Well, Izuku, I have another person in mind for my power, but if you find someone who you feel deserves it and would accept the power, let me know. Izuku tells him that he will keep an eye out, and he'll try to find someone with the most potential. He runs off to the dorms, and All Might is convinced that even without his power, Izuku will be an amazing hero. Izuku gets back, and someone approaches him asking why All Might kept him after. Oh, Momo. Yeah, just to critique some things. I could have done better. Nothing major. Izuku then tells everyone that he's gonna go basically train, so he will see them later. He's about to leave, but Momo stops him, asking if she can join as well. He agrees, knowing that her quirk is extremely unique, and frankly, if he can get her to use it at its fullest, she could be at the top of the class in not only just smarts, but also strength. Izuku helps her train and gives her various tips in terms of her quirk. They both then head back and then head to bed. The next day then arrives and Aizawa enters the classroom. Okay, listen up. Today you all will be going to the USJ for rescue training. Something that is very important to a hero's job. Aizawa tells them all to go and get on the bus, so they do so, and soon after the class arrives at the USJ. The class is greeted by Pro Hero 13, and she begins to explain what the plan is. As 13 is explaining the plan, a giant portal opens at the center of the USJ. Villains begin pouring out, and the last to walk out is a giant monster and a man with tons of hands on his body. 13, get the kids to safety. Aizawa jumps down the flight of stairs and begins fighting all the villains. As this happens though, a portal appears. But it appears right beneath Izuku, and before he can react, he falls into it. Izuku then appears next to all the villains, and Shigaraki grabs his neck with only 4 fingers. Don't move, kid, or I'll have you dead in seconds. Izuku looks over to Shigaraki and can tell that he is dead serious. Why choose me out of everyone? What is this, some hostage situation? Because I know who you are, and all may be our target, but you're just as good. A villain from behind Izuku begins to shock him, so he can't even move, and he falls through a portal. Aizawa tries his best to save him, but Izuku is gone. Izuku passes out from being shocked like crazy and lays silent in a chair, eventually waking up in a pitch black room. Where the hell am I? Don't worry, you are safe here. Who are you? What do you want? A light turns on and shows a man sitting on a throne-like chair staring at Midoriya. I want you, Izuku. I know how powerful your quirk is, and adding you to my League of Villains will greatly benefit us. And why would I do that? Knives then appear out of his chair next to all his vital points. Because frankly, you don't have a choice. Doctor, take him away. Midoriya is taken away by a doctor, but many villains stand around Izuku with quirks that will basically keep him detained. They wheel him into a hospital-like room and strap him down. What the hell are you doing? Don't worry, kid. This will be over before you know it. Machines turn on and Izuku can be heard screaming. Now back to UA. They are currently having an interview about the missing child during the USJ incident, being Izuku Midoriya. Yes, we are doing everything we possibly can to find Izuku. This is our top priority. Interviewers begin asking questions like, how incompetent do they have to be to let this happen to a mere child, and that there must be a reason why the villains would have taken him. Maybe they thought he would easily convert. Aizawa then tells them all that Izuku would never turn his back on anyone through his own free will, and he is just that type of kid. The search parties were large, and they looked throughout all the cities for Izuku, but nothing came up for weeks. UA had to go on like normal as all this occurred, but having high security currently up. But what nobody knew was that Midoriya was being made into something that would change Hero Society forever. Back to the League of Villains base. Is he finished, Master? Yes, Tomura. Izuku will be done with the process, and his memories have been altered by the doctor. What? Why not just make him a Nomu? Trust me, he will be much more useful this way. The memories we injected are ones of abandonment, that everyone left him, not only his mother, now also his best friend and many more. I see, Master. Yes, and that's not it. To him, he believes you picked him off the street, saved him from the torture of society. Shigaraki's smile grows wide, and All for One tells him that the boy will be sent to him very soon. Soon after their conversation, Izuku arrives at the base and kneels to Shigaraki. Good to see you, Sensei. Shigaraki smiles and tells him to stand up and that bowing is not needed. He gives Izuku a hug and smiles, thinking that he now has a weapon that will listen to every word he says, but has free will at the same time. Soon, across Japan, an unknown villain has arisen. someone who wears all black and dark green with an infinity symbol on his face. News stations have speculated that this could be the hero killer changing his outfit, but the patterns of killing for this new villain is a lot different. Everything this villain does seems to be planned so well that there is no chance in finding one misstep. What the news stations and even UA didn't know that the man behind the mask was just a boy by the name of Izuku Midoriya. All Izuku remembered was being treated like garbage, like dirt, by everyone around him. The nice and sweet Izuku everyone knew seemed to be gone forever. Izuku then headed back to the base for the league, and when he arrived, he was informed that the UA festival was about to begin. Why did it take so long for them to begin the festival this year? Shigaraki, knowing he can't say because he was the one being searched for, says that, well, during their last attack, UA went on high lockdown, and they just came out off of high alert. I see. What would you like me to do, Sensei? I just want you to create a bit of a ruckus. With the quirks you have, and you should be able to do that. Yes, Sensei. I will do my best. Right when Izuku says this, he disappears using one of his quirks called Shadow Step, which allows him to teleport a limited distance, but he can basically constantly use it. He arrives at UA with casual clothing, but with his costume in his bag, quickly getting an All Might mask to cover his face. Ugh, this is disgusting. He walks into the stadium just as the cavalry battle was finishing up. Izuku felt that waiting until all the fights were finished would be the best time to go. He stood waiting for the last match, and it was between Shoto Todoroki and Katsuki Bakugo. On the screen above, a picture of himself showed up, and both the contestants pointed at it as if they were giving respect to the student that was currently missing. Izuku is shocked, but doesn't care. Oh, you care about me now? Let's make this quick then. Izuku then gets changed into his outfit and waits for the medal ceremony to begin. As it begins, he shadow steps in front of All Might, kicking him. The crowd begins to panic, saying, "It's the Infinite. It's the Infinite, the new villain." Bakugo, Shoto, and Tokiyami attack him, but quickly he grabs the mic and disappears. You think any of you are safe? I will personally hunt down each and every one of you heroes, and I will make you feel what I felt when my sensei found me. Bakugo steps down, staring at the guy in the mask. Izuku? Don't say that name. It's tainted. Now I'm here to fix it. Izuku pulls out a hilt, and electricity flows around him as he creates a scythe-like weapon. A man jumps from the stand and runs to Izuku. What do you think you are doing? Izuku stares at the man. Do I know you? What are you talking about? It's me, Saber. Izuku, come back to the light, my boy. Izuku screams in pain for a couple seconds and rips off his mask with an evil grin. I know no Saber, and I am in the light. I will show you all who's in the light. Izuku's weapon begins to change into a giant warhammer, and it gets bigger and bigger, and he slams it on the ground, destroying the entire field, and the stadium begins to collapse with it. All the heroes evacuate the stadium, clearing out everyone, and all that is left is a large pile of rubble. And Aizawa stares at the rubble. This is definitely not good. Izuku appears on top of the pile of rubble and begins laughing. I think quite the opposite. A reckoning is coming, Eraserhead. I just hope you don't end up at the wrong end of my blade. Izuku disappears, and the entirety of UA stands in complete shock. What the hell happened to you, Izuku? And that is a wrap for part 2 of What If Deku Had an Infinite Potential Quirk if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. You hitting that like button and subscribe, you hitting the like button and commenting makes this video grow like crazy. It tells YouTube that everyone that's watching it is enjoying it. So if y'all can hit that like and also comment down below, then that would be awesome. Obviously, hitting the sub button would be greatly appreciated. And if you don't like my content later on, you could always unsubscribe later. And it's all good. Alright, enough of all that. I hope all y'all have an amazing day. And yeah, peace.